What's going on, everybody? It is time for the end of the day review. So let's go ahead and get started. Today was an interesting day, definitely a lot better than yesterday, thank God. Options at the bell did all right. I went 3 for 3 on the ones that I did take. I missed an opportunity on JPM here. I ended up taking BAC instead of this. Although this, I think, would have probably been a little bit more lucrative. Let's see. Let's assume 165 C's. That's what you would have taken. Okay, let's see here. Today is the 12th. Oh, I see. Okay. So you could have, no, you wouldn't have taken these. These are what I called, but it looks like the movement on these is kind of trash, actually. So 162s maybe. 162 and a half. Let's see what that looks like. The bell. 50 to 89. So that's actually pretty good. That's probably closer to what you would have taken. At its base, it would have been. Yeah, I mean, you could have gotten in here for this immediate dip into the zone, immediate push up right here. So you could have taken darn near 100% move, 47 to 87. Obviously, that's buying the bottom and selling the top, but realistically, you could have looked to get a 30 cents per contract move out of this. But anyways, let's go look at it. I took BAC instead, which netted me about a 12-cent move, if I'm not mistaken, or 16 cents, something like that. But the contracts were quite a bit cheaper, so it was a pretty easy move there. I said JPM, looking at the pullback range of 161.29 to 161. As you can see, that's pretty much where this is. Right there, close enough. So right off the bat, or one thing I at least wanted to say is that I kind of use the same formula for BAC and JPM. They're the same sector, so you can expect them to move almost the exact same way. But in this case, the zone actually works significantly better for BAC, so I'm not really upset that I took that one over this one. But of the 4 plays that I called this morning, all 4 of them made money, depending on how well you executed them. mRNA was a little touchy. You had to be in and out really quick. Boeing ended up paying though, real fast. I think I was up 40-45%, something like that, in a matter of 30 seconds or so. But I marketed it in and I marketed it out. I didn't get an amazing fill. But we'll look at Boeing here in a second. So what did I base the zones off of here? The first is going to be kind of this level right here you're seeing. Technically, I want to say that the zone was actually a bit higher up, like somewhere around here. But I was like, fuck it, we'll call it 161. No, it would have been lower than that. It would have been, yeah, right here. And I was like, fuck it, it's close enough to the whole dollar. We'll just give it the whole dollar. So that's why I ended up calling what I did. And then the top line, as you can see, key level here, key resistance tested, respected in pre-market, things like that. Come over here and look at the 1 hour, and you'll see, a bit easier, some flat tops here, flat top here, resistance. Looking at the 1 hour can sometimes simplify kind of what you're looking at. Same level ends up being respected into day as well. So see right there. So yeah, good zone. Basically what had happened was, this is where you wanted to watch right here on the 2-minute chart. So as you can see, it came down, big red can. It broke out pre-market high. You could have probably taken that for a small scalp, although you might not even be at 5 cents or so. I didn't really like the action on the breakout, especially because it had sold off big and then kind of closed back up, which isn't necessarily a great sign. I was looking for, on the very next candle, it to break out and open above, and at that point I would have marketed in, as opposed to this kind of like, wiki, almost a a pen style candle here, a pen bar, kind of hammery. But regardless, the next candle didn't open up. Instead, it opened down, and it came all the way down to fill the zone. Now, as I saw that, and the reason I brought up BAC is because BAC, you know, being a sympathy to Goldman Sachs and JPM and stuff like that. Also, you know, I had the same zone here. So as soon as I saw it selling off in JPM, you can see that it took a little bit longer, but it did also sell off. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, right here to the 200 SMA on the 5. Really solid key indicator. Move this a little bit tonight. And it filled the zone a bit better than JPM did, right? So let's look at the 5-minute for JPM really quick. So yeah, JPM, as you can see here, came down and kind of just tapped the top of the zone, whereas this one actually pushed a bit more into it here. Again, this zone was called, I said JPM looking at the pullback range of 161.29, 161 for a 165 move upwards. I'll take the 165 calls at the break of the pre-market high as well for a quick scalp. Realistically, you know, seeing it now, seeing the volume, seeing the open interest, kind of seeing the movement of the contracts there, I think that 162.5s probably would have been the better choice. Now, as we get closer to Fridays, and we're exclusively scalping premiums, it's better to, as the week progresses, get closer and closer to in the money, because as you're pushing yourself further out of the money, there's a lot less volume there, a lot less open interest, simply because the probability is a lot lower. So you know, as the week goes on and premiums get cheaper, you can afford to get closer and closer in the money. In this situation, 162.5s I think would have been ideal for JPM. Anyways, BAC, I said I'll take 43 Cs at the pullback to 42 to 41.90, which is basically what I got here. I saw JPM coming down, and I was like, okay, this will be my chance to load BAC just because I like the movement on the option chain a little bit better. So 43 Cs I ended up taking here at the bell. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was 42s. Yeah. So right here. Yeah, it ended up being 42s in. Yep. It was these. Okay. So I ended up at the dip here getting 30 fills. And I ended up closing, I marketed out at 46, and I want to say that I got filled at 42 on that action. So the same zones, though, you can see I was kind of basing my idea off the same play here as JPM. So one thing that's worth looking at here is, one thing I noticed from both of these financial tickers is that every morning at the bell, you see this dump almost here. It's a little bit easier to tell on the two. So you see, you know, sell off past, you know, what would be the consolidation ranges of the after hours and pre-market and stuff like that, you know. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to put a zone just a bit lower than that, because I came back to this day and I saw, you know, big sell off to pretty much the lows of pre-market. And then you can come over here again, another situation, do the same thing. Sell off to the lows of, you know, lower than the lows of pre-market. Same thing here, opens high, drops, opens high, drops. You know, I noticed that this trend was pretty common, and that it was pushing past a lot of where the consolidation ranges were on, you know, on the pre-market after hours levels. So, you know, Bank of America, no different. You can see big drop before pop, big drop before pop, big drop before pop. And one thing I noticed is that its respect of the 200 SMA is pretty damn solid. So when I saw Bank of America dip into that zone, BAC, dip into my zone, as well as have confluence on the 5. I mean, look at these touches on the 200 SMA on the 5 here. It doesn't get almost any more perfect than that. This one peaked out maybe a cent or two. but just true respect. So I ended up getting fills down here, selling on this pop-up here. I was holding half my position for the expectation of the break over. As it started to push back down, I marketed out. I think my average fill was close to 42, so 12 cents a contract, which is close to 50% on what I paid, which is not bad at all. Not bad at all. But I wanted to show you guys those side by side, and kind of like I mentioned in the Discord at the Bell at the Bell Prep as well. I said that these are both financial sector plays. If one works, they both will. If one fails, they both will. Be mindful if you're watching both. Might be worth choosing one. BAC is going to be cheaper. JPM's probably got the higher return opportunity, so I chose BAC in this situation. Don't regret it. I think that both had really, really awesome movement. BAC filled the zone a little bit better, so it just made a little bit more sense to me at the time. All right, the next one was Boeing. Boeing was actually a good one. I know it looks like dog shit here. Whoa. You can hide and show your drawings? Yo, that's sick. The new Weeble update's sick. You can also do this, right? Do this little arrow to cover that bar, give yourself a little bit more screen. Cool. So anyways, at the Bell, I said Boeing 239.51. Let's go ahead and chart that out here. 239.51. Aw, man. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I had the drawings hid. What the fuck is going on? Anyways, 239.51. Let's get that drawn out here. There it is. Down to 238.92. 238.92. So you actually could have taken some gorgeous puts off of the same zone as the zone turned from support to resistance. But amazing fill, right? So you actually got a couple of opportunities to take this trade. I took the first one right here as it kind of dipped down. I immediately marketed in because I saw that it was starting to pull back up. And I was like, oh shit, all we're going to get is a little bounce, and it's trying to close back above the 200. You come and look at the 5-minute chart, and it's perfect respect to the 200 on that dip there. So I was like, oh shit, hurry up. I immediately marketed in. It turned green, came up over this kind of cluster of indicators here, and as it pushed up, I marketed out. I ended up taking 45% on that play. They were 242.5s, if I'm not mistaken. Where are we at? 12th. Right here. Yeah, so right around here, I marketed in. I got filled in the high 80s. I want to say it's 89 or something. And then I immediately marketed out. As you can see, that was a nutso move. Super dank move on this one. That rip. I mean, that's actually kind of crazy. You could have taken over 100% on that. I didn't hold that long. I marketed in, as it kind of pulled up here, and I marketed out as soon as it popped over that cluster of indicators that I had mentioned. Could have held for a bigger move. It's actually kind of crazy that the premiums shot up that high on this move right here. I think that there was probably a lot of bullish expectation of some continuation as it tested pre-market high, which was this level right here. But then as it pushed back down, the price quickly balanced back out to, closer to an average range of what those spreads were looking like previous. And then, it came back up to test the zone. I was already done trading for the day because I had already done so well. God damn, dude. On the two trades, but pop up, good. Could have taken this short position as the zone turns into resistance. And that's it, man. I mean, that would have given you the move of the day right there. Beautiful downtrend on this one. Just a gorgeous move down. So yeah, I'm really happy with that zone as well. The last Bell zone I called was mRNA. I said 339.58. Let's go take a look. Oh no, that should stay. So sorry, I took a melatonin, so like my time is limited. 395.8 here, which is closer to probably Damn, I don't even remember what I based this off of. I guess it was based off. Oh yeah, there you go, there you go. Yeah, 395.8, perfect. So as you can see here, peaks of pre-market area, some resistance. And then if I'm not mistaken, the bottom line is probably right here at the base of this consolidation range. What does that say? Do I have indicators showing values? Oh, man, that is not cool. Cash money. No? Well, that's fucking weird. You saw that, right? It showed the red. Anyways. 391.7. No, 395.8 down to 393.52. So actually it wasn't even that low. It must have been based off the top of this. Yeah, somewhere around there. In any case, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. In any case, the zone you didn't even have to worry about. You know, I was actually looking for this nice little trend move here to kind of come and get tested at the, you know, a fill of here. Maybe an overcorrection past the trend on that pure volume for the push back up. Alternatively, I said if it breaks the pre-market high, I'll take 405s for the quick scalp. As you can see here, it immediately went to break pre-market high. I marketed in with a full position, which on a stock this expensive was only about 3 contracts. And I took 405s for the scalp upwards. And that was, is this the 12th? Yes. So I ended up marketing in, I think I was close to, you know, high 8s, close to 9. And I took about $1.50 on my 2 scale outs there. All in all, a good move, you know, really, really lucrative move, even though it was so short and so, you know, really, really fast. Similar to Boeing. You could have taken the secondary move on Boeing as it came to fill the zone a little bit better, and that would have worked just fine. But I took that immediate one right at the gate. So between all of these, which all kind of happened simultaneously, Bank of America and JPM was kind of a slow movement into the zone. So I had plenty of time to do that. I was really just, I had 4 different charts up at the same time, like 4 different tickers. With a 2, 5, 10 for each. mRNA and BA, I pulled the trigger on right away. And BAC and JPM, I had plenty of time to watch. I decided to go with one of those 2 as it slowly came down to fill the zone. Apple, man, this was a fat one too, dude. This was a little bit later on. Oh, looks like we still got the lines here. I called this in the scalp plays, which is where I call everything that's not like an opening bell play. I mean, this is picture perfect trend. Honestly, this was the pullback of the day. I mean, you literally took this position and it only went up from here. You could have held this to absolute peak, probably 200 or 300% if I had to guess. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, look at this fill, dude. Almost, this is the low came down to 146.58. My zone was 146.56 here. So 2 cents off. And I ended up taking profit at 10 cents per. I ended up taking profit at the break over 147 for about 18 cents per. And then I took my last contract off at about 25 cents. Totally cool. I'm a scalper. I get it. I miss a lot of these moves a lot of the time. I was just looking to secure some gains. I had something to do at 10 a.m. So I wasn't, you know, looking to babysit any positions or have to worry about it. But I said, 853, sorry, which would be 953 on this chart here. Yeah, right here I called this zone. I said 146.64, 146.45 on Apple is the trend test zone, as well as the VWAP confluence. So you can see this beautiful trend line respect, as well as the you know, the VWAP confluence here, just like I had mentioned. So she came down to fill, I mean, beautifully. Plenty of time to scale into your position. This is a whole 2-minute candle that gave you opportunity down here. You could have taken this up here. I think my stop, I said Apple a minute 54 cents on 147 C's. And my stop, it would have been at 44 or 45, something like that. What did I say? 147 C's. Wow. Yeah, so they ended up going 100% to, you know, close to 400% from that entry. Crazy. That's crazy. Wow, I didn't even notice that until now. I'm just looking at it. That would have been a banger to hold on to, you know, obviously for the rest of the day. I am excited about it moving into tomorrow, though. We could finally see that 150 break. I think over to 150, she has room to fly. But 150 could be a pretty tough break. Last time we revisited that area to the cent, there were some huge orders on the ask. Big sell orders on the tape. They could be legit. They could be just pressure to push the price back down. You know, we'll find out. But this is, man, talk about a move that's setting it up. I mean, you're already in the 149 range. You got a single dollar after a fucking $5 run that we need to cover. $4 run. So that looks optimistic. Man, what a trade. What a trade. I cut it too short, for sure. After yesterday, though, I was just like down to clown, whatever I could fucking get. This was kind of a shit move. It took too long, and this is what kind of drained me. Once I saw this, and I was right, but I earned very little for the amount of stress that was involved with holding this position as long as I did. I got in over here, and it took, you know, a good 15 minutes of just sitting here staring at it in order for it to finally come to fruition. At the same time, we're battling these major indicators on the 10. We're up above them on the 2 and the 5, but, you know, I just couldn't quite decide. I'm glad I got out of it when I did, because it obviously, you know, shit the bed, but there's plenty of more opportunities to take AMC throughout the day, but I was already done trading. Anyway, so I called AMC 3207. Oh, I'm sorry. I changed my Apple zone. I might have just totally not misinterpreted what was on the screen. Yeah, 146.84, 146.56 is what I changed it to. So I moved it up a tad from where it was, just because I expected a trend revisit a little bit lower. And then I redrew the lines as these new highs started to form, and I made those adjustments. AMC, you know, again, you can see where these lines are based off of pre-market action, previous day, key levels, stuff like that. Yeah, beautiful dip down here. Kind of came out of my zone a little bit. I was far from getting stopped out, though, because you know, maybe it was my fault for the contracts I chose. I'm pretty sure I was in on 33 Cs. I should have been a little closer to in the money. 32s or something like that. That's such a, you would, I mean, you're basically 12 cents out of the money at that point. So it's a little tight. Yeah, and those are your only options. So I don't know. Maybe I did what was right here. But I got in at 65 fills. Even as it dipped out, it got down to like 62, 63. So I wasn't, you know, I had my stop at like 55. So quickly I realized that, like, okay, it's not really moving a whole lot in either direction. Maybe I can raise my stop up closer to like a 58 or something like that. Risk a little bit less and just take profits sooner. And I ended up taking profits right here at the break of this 32 2 level. As soon as it shot up, I took my gains. Now, I could have had, I guess, a little bit better opportunity if I waited a bit longer. But still, I'm not sure what it peaked at. I said I took the rest off at 7. No. I took the... Yeah, I took the rest off at 73 or something like that for like 8 cents. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done. I've had a great day so far. No reason to let this one be, you know, worth more emotional strain than it's worth based on the action we're seeing here. You know, if a move takes this long and you see this buy volume just fucking tank on this little baby candle and a slow move up, I mean, this is actually big volume, but you know, not big action. And then as soon as this came in, you know, you would want to get the hell out. As soon as it eclipsed the low of this previous candle, you know that it's officially a pullback candle. So, you know, I would have taken my gains there. But fortunately, I got out up here on this quick pop. I don't know what I got filled at. I think it was closer to 70 or 8 cents per, which is not a lot. I was only in with like 5 shares as well. I mean, 5 shares, 5 contracts as well. So I think I made like $40, $45 off that or something, which is, you know, it is what it is. I had been up so well based on the action at the bell that I was uninterested in, you know, sizing and pushing that advantage, as opposed to like, maybe I'll give myself some exposure to some small gains here, but I'm not willing to risk a whole lot in the process because I was still recovering from the ass whooping I got the day before. But I mean, today was just a perfect example of how, like, you get beat down one day and then the next day you're just hitting. I think that every single one of my calls was worked today. I think I didn't have a single loser. Whereas yesterday, I don't think I had a single winner, right? So, you just have those days. And the most important thing you can do is just recognize that, like, oh, this is a day that I suck, right? So walk away as fast as you can. Once you identify that, you go, holy shit. This is powerful information to know that this is not my day. If somebody came up to me and was like, hey, man, you're going to do really bad at your job tomorrow, I would literally be like, okay, well, I'm taking tomorrow off, right? I mean, duh. So, it's important to not overlook that is totally an option. I know that sometimes it feels like it's not an option because you're like, come on, dude, how can I not trade? But, I've saved myself a lot of grief and heartache and money not trading when, it became apparent to me that it just wasn't my day. And because I kept those losses under, about 2% of my account, I ended up making all of that back. And then with the wish action at the end of the day, I skyrocketed. I ended up making a lot. I'm staying to make a lot tomorrow, so we'll see how this action looks. I've been preaching this. I'm not here to gloat or anything. I know a lot of us, including myself, I still have some shares in my swing account, are long on Wish. And I got a lot of homies, my mom, all kinds of shit, people that are in this ticker, so it doesn't bring me great joy to be like, ha, I told everybody you should have listened to me. I'm happy that my trade went the way that I execute, or the way that I, had the conviction towards, the way that I anticipated. That makes me feel good as far as like the validation of like, okay, you did it, your assessment was good. It was a good trade, right? And that's okay for me to be like, hell yeah, I had a good trade. What I'm not interested in doing is going on like Twitter and being like, check out these fucking gains, eat shit, thanks for paying me, losers, or whatever. It's just not the kind of person I am. Because I've been on the losing side of those and it doesn't feel good. It sucks. But last Friday actually, so this would have been on the 9th, I took a short position. I took puts actually. I got filled at about 35 cents per on these 9s. Maybe they were 9.5s. Yeah, they were 9.5s. 35 cents per on this 9.5s. They're at 86 right now. And, man, I'd have to look. And I expect that they're going to open at close to $1.60 tomorrow. So probably from my entry, close to 150 to 160%. I took 20 of those contracts because they were so dirt cheap. I was risking about 15 cents per. So not a ton. Quite a sizable position, but Wish was moving in such a way that, if it did start to come up against me, I could start to scale out slowly. And at the same time, my long position, my swing account would then do well. So it was kind of, balancing each other out if it did start to come against me a bit. But literally from the moment I took that position on Friday, it peaked up here and then sold off. And I was in the money. And I've been in the money since. And I just been watching it. And then today, I even announced in Discord, I was like, yo, I'm going to take a short position overnight, maybe some verticals. I was already in with the puts, so I ended up taking about 400 shares at 10.05, right up here at this pre-market level. As soon as it, I think I actually got a worse fill than that. I think it was like 9.99 or something. But as soon as I saw that it failed to break this pre-market, I took my position. I could have swore it was 10.05, and then it got a little bit bigger of a pop. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a little lower. That's on my Thinkorswim account, the same account I lost 2% on yesterday. So anyhow, here, let me tell you real quick. I'm genuinely curious. Oh, I'm sorry, 998 is my average, 998. So yeah, I got filled somewhere right around here at the bell. And I told everybody, I was like, yo, I'm going to add to my short position. So as it went down, I kind of added some more. This was the bulk of my position, though. I think 250 shares, and I, scattered some in throughout. But I ended up covering almost entirely as soon as it broke to all-time lows. I mean, this 752 level was actually its previous all-time low. And as soon as it pushed through that, I closed. So I was like, I'm up like $1,000. Which I didn't anticipate it to be this drastic. I tweeted out last week, and I've been saying it for a couple weeks, that I think Wish is, gonna tank. And I expected kind of a tank off earnings and then a slow move downwards to eventually hit that level 7, or the level 7, that $7 range. I didn't expect for it to all happen all at once, which is kind of jarring, especially for the people in it long. I don't even want to look at my fucking swing account where I got those 144 shares. I'm sure that just those 144 shares are probably down like 50%. Not quite. They would be about 38%, I think, at this point, which is not good. Probably close to $400, $500. But you know, a lot of people are asking me, how did you, or why did you think that this short position was going to be a good play? A couple of reasons. First, I looked at their fundamentals. I did that on the NASDAQ website. You can look at the SEC filings. You can look at, you know, insiders owned. You can look at the float. The float's about 380 million last I checked, and which is not a ton, but it's also, you know, not small. It's not a small cap in that same respect. It's closer to a mid cap range, I would say, based on the market cap and the shares outstanding. And then outside of those shares, 93% of the float is owned by institutions. Now, institutions love growth stocks, right? They love things they can sit their money in, park that shit, and in 3 or 4 years they can take a look at. Which tells me that, you know, this over anticipations of these big moves, especially after we got this double bottom bounce right here. We got this double bottom bounce off this level, this 881 level here. Look at that. This 884, 881. So boom, runs up, rejects, can't break through this kind of, you know, if you were looking at Head and Shoulders or whatever, this would be like your neckline. You got mad support and resistance here, middle of the gap. Key indicators were there. Let's take a look at the 50. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much more perfect than that. I tell people this all the time, actually, that institutions love taking profits into the 50. They love it on the daily chart. It's a straight up technique that I was taught at the at T3, is that you take where the fuck is the 200? Which is not on here. And that's okay. Oh, you know why? But it hasn't been 200 days. That's probably why. Anyways, they love taking bounces off the 200 and profits into the 50. Those are like, that's like the classic institution swing trade. But yeah, I mean, you see this bounce up into the 50. All right, reject off this same neckline area that met with the 50. We got a double bottom bounce, a push up, an attempt at push up, immediate push back down, a secondary push up. Now look at the volume. Big volume, dipping volume, big sell volume, small, you know, and an increasing sell volume over the past few days. One big thing to remember, right, is that earnings, tickers usually run up into earnings, right? That's not uncommon. It's a pretty common practice. Tickers run up into earnings. So you see these run-ups into earnings, especially if they're already pretty bottomed out. Tickers like to, you know, the week of, run up into earnings. Look at Sophie right here. Great example. Great example. They had great earnings, by the way. Like, really impressive earnings. They peak, earnings drops, and you know, everybody takes their profit. There's no point in holding through earnings anymore, because the new move is to, you know, take your position early and benefit on that run up, and then liquidate your position before it does get to the actual earning deadline. Sophie, great earnings. $3 push down. You know, it's devastating. Look at this. Great movement up. This chart looks a fuckload better than Wish, even though it does have some similarities, but you can at least see consolidation above like what I would consider, you know, this key level of resistance. Good push up. You know, you don't have any of these major indicators pushing it down the same way you did on Wish. So I would have been much more bullish on this than I was on Wish. It also didn't help that, you know, I just got this vibe from so many people that were like extremely emotional on Wish. Like, you saw people that were like getting a tattooed type energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, people on Twitter and stuff, they were like, this is it's going to $69. And like, come on, that's just unrealistic, right? When people start saying and hyping and getting excited about shit that's like completely unrealistic, a la GME and AMC type shit, then I mean, that it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know, like, okay, that's pretty crazy. This is a very emotionally driven ticker. Most of the people holding the bag, and you know, that's a lot of emotion that's going to come into this ticker. You know, and that's not ideal. Having that level of emotion is not ideal. Another thing is, look at this, right? Look at all these bag holders that get caught. And then look at what price rejects off of. Bag holders from this period taking gains up here 100% of the time. That's why it can't break through. Even on this increased volume, you got so many people that are holding this ticker from maybe this rally, or this rally. They're like, this is the best I'm going to get. I'm saved. I'm close to break even. Maybe I'm a little red, whatever, and they get out. Then we zoom in a little bit further here and we see, okay, peak up. All the people that got caught in this gap down, they're taking their gains. They're closing out here. Pushes it back down. All the people that got caught on this peak that rode through this, you know, they're closing back up. There's just bag holders everywhere. Anybody who bought at these peaks, you can bet is still holding that position if they hadn't already taken their L's. I mean, look at this. Look at this level. This is such a core level right here that it couldn't break through. And since it's been pushing down, volume's been descending. Like, nothing about these technicals looks like, oh, fuck yeah, we're about to have a run to $69, right? So yeah, I mean, the 50 SMA, though, is such a major indicator for institutions and big money. And as you can see here, rejection. And this final rejection was too much. The fact that, and this is kind of like, I want to wrap it all up by saying, in the Sophie example, you saw a pure run up. Every day it was going up towards earnings. Well, Wish got about 3 days out and it died. It tuckered out, which is why I ended up taking my short position right around that time frame. It was actually over here because I saw this and maybe it was here. Maybe it was on, no, that would have been Monday. I'm pretty sure I was short on Friday. I have to go look. But you see this run up. It's trying, and all of a sudden it can't. And if the ticker's unable to even run up into earnings, you know, that's a bad sign. That tells you straight up that, you know, the people who are hoping to ride this up to a, you know, $12, $13 or whatever, you know, maybe break through this 50 before the, you know, the earnings pushes it back down. And you come and look at earnings. Every time Wish has had earnings, gap down. Huge rejection. Like, the earnings has never benefited the chart. You know, and I say this especially in large caps all the time. Like, if I see it happen 100 times, I'm going to believe that the 101st time, it's probably going to happen again. So that's kind of a culmination of my ideas. The fundamentals as well, they're $250 million in debt. They got $1.7 billion cash on hand. But their cash on hand at the beginning of last year reflected the same percentage to debt ratio. So the cash that's on hand, they've been using to pay their debt, which is not a good sign. You know, it means that they're not really generating revenue towards paying those debts off any faster. They did terrible on revenue. They were down 10% on estimated revenue. I mean, it's just a series of all this stuff culminating together that I said on Twitter, you know, weeks ago. You know, I don't like this look. This is a secondary bounce. I think it comes down. 50 SMA. I mean, it's silly to be like, the 50 SMA. You guys are all wrong based off of this blue line here, right? But it's a culmination of things that made me think, okay, you know, just looking at this, what do I think? Put the bias aside, put Zach Morris, put Twitter, all that shit aside. The people who, you know, told me I was a bitch or a troll or whatever, you know, push those to the side. It's irrelevant. Based on what I'm looking at, do I think that the stock, you know, looks like it wants to go up, or does it look like it wants to go down? And, you know, these key rejections off these key levels, they said, well, dude, it's probably coming back down. Maybe to revisit, you know, I was like drawing some lines. The reason I chose 7 was because I was like, well, if it revisits this zone here, the low will be in the 7s. You know, maybe we get a double bottom bounce off some of these levels. That's well into the 7s. So, you know, that's why I said $7 range. And of course, you can actually see on the sell-off, it respected these levels really, really well. And then it caved. So, yeah, that was my thesis. I mean, it's I know that people are looking for some kind of like, you know, I Einsteined it, or I knew something everybody else didn't. I just, you know, I think that it's easy to forget what it's like to look at a ticker that's unbiased. I'm also in a long position. So, you know, looking at this was telling myself, yeah, I think the position I'm currently in is a bad one. And that's okay. You're not going to push that shit to the side. It's irrelevant. What do you think the next best play is? And, you know, I thought it was short. So that is kind of that explanation there. hopefully that's insightful. Maybe it's not. I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm thinking. Again, I'm on some melatonin. I'm on that tonin. You know what I'm saying? You boy out here faded. No, but I am getting a little tired, so I'm gonna call it there. Again, if there's any questions on Wish or any of the plays we took today, feel free to message me anytime. If there's any plays that you took individually that you want me to look at, things that you're proud of, things that you're not proud of, whatever. My DMs are always open to anybody in this group. If you want to shoot me some messages, or you're just having trouble putting a plan together and you want to figure out maybe some ideas that we can come up with together to kind of get you moving in a healthy direction, feel free anytime. That's what I'm here for. Otherwise, I will go to bed now, but I hope you guys have a kick-ass into the week. Tomorrow is Friday. Premiums are cheap. It's going to be a good day. I can feel it. I will see you guys then. So be well, stay healthy, all that good shit, and let's make tomorrow a really kick-ass day.